this on the podcast that he was on just the other day. Now, I got to thinking, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, Tyrann Mathieu is correct. Maybe, just maybe, the Atlanta Falcons did not use Bijan Robinson very good last season. Maybe, just maybe, they didn't. But you know what this tells me? This tells me that Tyrann Mathieu is playing a little bit of head games. This tells me that Tyrann Mathieu is really worried about the Atlanta Falcons. As you look at the Atlanta Falcons, they got a hell of a lot better this offseason. They added Kirk Cousins. They have Drake London still. They have Kyle Pitts. They picked up Mooney. They traded for Rondale Moore. And, of course, they still have mighty Kirk Cousins. This is smart on Tyrann Mathieu's plate here. You are getting in the running back's head saying, hey, the Falcons misused me. The Falcons should have used me a little bit better. They should have done this, and this. And when a player starts thinking about that, they start voicing those opinions, and then all of a sudden he's like, I want the damn ball. And when he says, I want the damn ball, the Falcons are probably going to try to keep that guy a little bit happy. He's a very, very good running back. But once you start keeping that guy, man, happy, Drake London is no longer a factor. Kyle Pitts is no longer a factor. Rondale Moore is no longer a factor. Darnell Mooney is no longer a factor. Kirk Cousins making that $180 million guaranteed, no longer a factor. Keep handing the ball off. Smart thinking, Tyrann Mathieu. Smart thinking, my guy. But cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Hey, let's go. Hitting that gridiron, we going hard, we running the plays. You know the vibe, only the strong survive. Gotta keep your head in the game. Talking NFL, uncut, straight raw. Steady bringing that sauce. We about to take off. Get it hype, this man, our sport talk. Yeah. From the quarterback to the lineman, everybody bringing heat. You don't really want to try them. Hey, who gon' win? It's a battle of the giants. This show is the flyest. Nobody can deny it. This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? Let's go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Blackhouse here with the Man Hour. Resort over to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page, which at the blog section as well. But most importantly, head over to NFLtoday.co. We got the blog section over there. We got more merchandise over there. We got news, we got stats, we got scores, and we got the forums over there as well. Become a forum member over there. Talk your stuff. It is uncensored. It is truly live, raw, and uncut, because the only moderation over there is myself. And if I get offended, you did something wrong. Let's just be honest. You did a little something wrong if I'm getting offended over there on our forums page. But, guys, I want you to become a Pigskin Pundit. Please become a Pigskin Pundit today. Click on the link below. Become a Pigskin Pundit. Get your second quarter merch has already been sent out. No longer second quarter merch, but you get after hours footage, you get film breakdown, you get some behind the scenes stuff, you get a little bit of list, you get a little bit of that. But most importantly, come September, actually we'll do even preseason games. We are going to be streaming all of the NFL games, kind of like a NFL red zone type of thing. We're going to have all the games up here on the screen, and we are going to just flip-flop back in games, talk about it, talk some stuff, and have fun. But the only way you get access to that is if you do become a Pigskin Pundit. Guys, this is a live interactive show. Comments are encouraged. Talk your stuff in the comments below, but be ready to defend yourself. Because, like I said, this is live, raw, and uncut, and I am the most interactive person out there on the old interwebs. Many people want to stream to you guys and talk some stuff and have a grand old time, but I am the one that truly only dives into those comments, dissects those comments, and wants you to defend yourself. Just like my man Timothy Nicola the other day. He says, the Kansas City Chiefs dynasty is over. I saw that comment. I'm like, hey, Timothy, tell me why. Tell me why the dynasty is over. He never did. Never did. I made a short about it. I made a clip about it. Still hasn't answered. So, Timothy, tell me why the Kansas City Chiefs dynasty is over. I just want to know. But guys, we have weathered the storm here at the Studio F here in good old Sellersburg, Indiana. The tornadoes are past us. The sun is out. It's getting humid, and we're going to get ready to get rocked this afternoon. But it is what it is. But we got my man, WB Ant, is in the chat. Good morning to you, Ant. Hope you're having a grand old day. My man is here each and every day. And Ant, you know what, man? Send me your email address. I got a surprise for you. Just because I like the way you look. I like the way you look, Ant. Send me your email address at manhour_buck on the old Facebook page, and I got a little something for you. My man Jim Powell says, "What's up?" Do you guys remember? I don't know. Shoot, what was it? Was it late 90s, early 2000s, the What's Up commercial? Weather. Every time I see that, I see Jim, I'm like, weather. Jim is a pigskin pundit. Thank you for all your support, Jim, and you're here every day as well. I appreciate it. Also, another person that's always here every day is James Chamberlain. He says, man up, Timothy. Defend yourself. Timothy doesn't want the smoke, man. Timothy doesn't want the smoke, James. It is what it is. But somebody that wants to smoke is I want to smoke, guys. And the Dallas Cowboys are a very good topic to talk about because I feel that there are Cowboy haters and there are Cowboys lovers, right? The Cowboy haters hate the Cowboys more than they actually love their team. And right now, we are going to talk about America's team. Right now, we are going to talk about the greatest team in American sports history, and that is the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys last season, guys, they had a pretty good season, right? They had a nice little regular season, ended up getting the second overall seed with wins over the Detroit Lions and Eagles to really seal that deal late in the year. But then, of course, they fluttered off in the playoffs in like a little bit. But there has been some rumors surfacing. There has been some talks in Cowboy land, in the good old state of America, that Zeke Elliott might potentially be going back to the Dallas Cowboys. There has been mutual interest in the Dallas Cowboys and Zeke coming back and reuniting that marriage, getting back together. So, guys, let me ask you this question. Is it a good idea that Ezekiel Elliott does go back to the Dallas Cowboys? Does that make the Dallas Cowboys a potential Super Bowl contender? Does that make them better? Let's look at the Dallas Cowboys in 2023. Last season, guys, they had the 30th ranked red zone touchdown percentage offense. Meaning, when they got into the red zone, they did not do very good scoring touchdowns. Last season, they had 85 total plays in the red zone with only 8 total touchdowns. 85 plays in the red zone to 8 total touchdowns. Take that into perspective. The next closest team that had plays in the red zone were the 49ers, and they had 54. So the Dallas Cowboys had 30 more plays to only 8 touchdowns. The 49ers did have a 68 touchdown rate. I do not have their total touchdowns, but they scored a lot in the red zone last season. But when we look at the Dallas Cowboys in 2022, the Dallas Cowboys did have Zeke Elliott. They had a 72% touchdown rate in the red zone. That was leading the NFL. They were just a smidge better than the Kansas City Chiefs. It was like 71.92 for the Dallas Cowboys, and the Chiefs were at 71.02% touchdown rate in the red zone. So Ezekiel Elliott to the Dallas Cowboys makes all the sense in the world to me. The biggest flunders that the Dallas Cowboys had last season was the red zone offense. You bring in a big body back like Zeke back, get him some touches in the red zone, get that percentage up, bada bing, bada boom, to the moon, baby. To the moon. However, the Dallas Cowboys do have a little bit more issues than just a running back position, right? Their only running back on the roster right now, I think, is Deuce Vaughn, Mr. 5'5" man himself from the Kansas State University. I don't want to dog my man, but he is. I don't think he will do very well in the NFL as a traditional running back. That the Dallas Cowboys should bring back Zeke 100%, but they're going to need more help besides just Zeke. Whether it's a Dalvin Cook, whether it is finding a running back in the draft, whether it is finding a running back in potential trade with the Kansas City Chiefs, right? The Dallas Cowboys are going to need more than Zeke Elliott to really up that touchdown percentage. But guys, let me ask you this question. Does Zeke to the Dallas Cowboys make sense in your eyes? Does that make them a better team? Does that make them a Super Bowl caliber team? Answer the questions in the comments below, guys, and we will check it out. Check it out. Check it out. Ant says, I sent it to you in Messenger. I appreciate you, my guy. I appreciate you, Ant. Thank you for being here. Speaking of always being here, my man Wayne G is always here as well. And he said Zeke showed last year he still has gas in the tank. If he wants to play for a tiny contract, good decision. Didn't Zeke play for a pretty small contract in New England, if I'm not mistaken? It was only like $9 million a season. I mean, I feel like Zeke is at that point of his career. He made his dollar bills, yo, and he wants to put the hardware on the hand, right? We spoke about players yesterday in free agency that are kind of like, I just want the bag. I just want the bag. I just want the bag. Zeke already got his bag, right? Zeke already got his. He was the highest paid running back for 3 or 4 years in the NFL with the Dallas Cowboys, right? He didn't produce like the highest paid running back, but he was the highest paid running back in the NFL. I think if he does come back to Dallas, obviously the Super Bowl talk and the Dallas Cowboys are already there, right? You have the best roster on paper, hands down. You have a pretty damn good defense. You have an even better offense. Then you add a running back like Zeke. Like all the cards align to me, but Zeke will need the yin to his yang. So he could not be the featured back 100% of the time, but he'll be a good third down back, a good, short yardage back. And then maybe somebody like Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That would be good. Speaking of Timothy Nicola, he's back in the chat today. Good morning, Tim. And he says, if Brady would have had that 90s Cowboys team, he'd have won all 10 Super Bowls. I'm not for sure of that. Because wasn't about 97 is when, people started retiring, right? Troy Aikman retired, 98? Michael Irvin started to leave. Emmitt Smith went to the Cardinals. It just, after that 96 Super Bowl, it was just kind of epic collapse. And I don't think it was a quarterback thing. I don't think it was a receiver thing. I don't think it was a team thing. I think it was a Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson thing, right? If you watch that 30 for 30, Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones really butted heads. WCN says, nope. Number 1, they cut him. Number 2, they always choke in the playoffs. Number 3, there are better options out there if he wants to chase rings. So Ant says Zeke should not go to the Dallas Cowboys because they already cut him once. So the Dallas Cowboys did cut Zeke Elliott because of salary cap issues, right? Let's just be honest. If you can't afford something and you aren't producing to what I'm going to pay you, it's time to walk the line, right? Now, your number 2, they always choke in the playoffs. The defense always chokes in the playoffs. Dan Quinn is the single reason I believe why the Dallas Cowboys choked in those big games. Because when you look at those big games over the last couple seasons, San Francisco 49ers last season, the Buffalo Bills, the Green Bay Packers, the defense failed to show up. The defense failed to even give the offense a opportunity to work, right? Now, you can point to all the interceptions to Dak. You can say, Dak is the reason, Dak is the reason, Dak is the reason. Well, the reason why Dak had to throw those passes and all those passes in the first place is because they're already playing from behind. Now, I'm not trying to give Dak a pass because there are some big interceptions that he did throw in the Buffalo Bills game that could have definitely swung the game one way or the other. But let's just be honest, that defense was playing very, very bad. I think Dan Quinn is the reason why they choked a lot of those big games. He is officially gone. And then number 3, there are better options if he wants to chase a ring. Of course, there's better options if you want to chase a ring. But those teams do not need a running back. You could be a practice squad guy on those teams. But if you look at your Baltimore Ravens, are you going to put Zeke in the starting lineup with Derrick Henry and Keaton Mitchell and like those guys. Let's look at the Kansas City Chiefs. Are you going to replace him with Isaiah Pacheco? 49ers. Are you going to replace him with CMC? Like, just there are better options, but he wouldn't be nearly worth anything to any team. Like I don't think. But thank you for your comment, and I just don't think there are better options. Wayne G says the if game can get ridiculous in a hurry. It can. What if Dak Prescott does throw for 115 touchdowns this season? Are the Dallas Cowboys the best team ever then? Timothy says, what did I miss? Timothy, I'm still waiting for your answer about the Kansas City Chiefs. Why are the Kansas City Chiefs dynasty over? I asked you yesterday. I made a short about it, made a post about it. Still haven't answered. Tell me the question. Tell me the answer. Why are the Kansas City Chiefs dynasty over? That's all I want to know. That's all I want to know. James says running backs are a dime a dozen. A running back that can block like Zeke are almost worth their weight in gold. This is 100% correct. I believe it was the Ravens game. Keaton Mitchell, I believe that was a rookie that tore his ACL toward the end of the season. He stepped up and made one of the best running back blocks I've seen in a very, very long time. And it scampered Lamar Jackson out of the pocket and ended up throwing a touchdown to Flowers out there. It was just a running back that can block is absolutely amazing because that gives you an opportunity to take the tight end out of the blocking and put him into routes, right? That puts you imano up front, and then when you have a blitzing little linebacker, that guy steps up, boom, baby, right? A little dump off to Travis Kelce or Sam Laporta, Kyle Pitts. It is option. Timothy says the Cowboys should have got Derrick Henry. And I concur with that. I do believe that the Dallas Cowboys and Derrick Henry would have been a perfect fit, right? But unfortunately, it seemed like Derrick Henry's all eyes were pointed to Baltimore. Hell, for the last 2 seasons, right? They've been the Baltimore Ravens and Derrick Henry have kind of been in that mutual love for each other, right? Last season, the Ravens actually made a offer to trade for Derrick Henry, but the Titans were like, no, we'll figure it out. Titans end up letting him walk for like free. I don't know. But you are correct. I feel like the Dallas Cowboys should have definitely picked up Derrick Henry. That would have been a great pickup. Would have been a great pickup. Emmett Smith. Timothy is here to defend your Kansas City Chiefs comment. Timothy, people are calling you out, man. Jim Powell says Jerry Jones parties with Bill Cosby and P. Diddy. I see nothing wrong with that. I see nothing wrong with that at all. Funny thing is, so today during the tornadoes, when we were sitting here hunkering, weathering the storms, right as the school bus came, I was thrown through TikTok, because that's just what I do when I'm bored taking a poop. Scrolling through the old TikToker, and it was Michael Irvin talking on some podcast. I can't remember who it was, but he was telling us a story about a time when him, meaning Michael Irvin, Mike Tyson, and Terrell Owens all went to a party back in early 90s, and T.O.'s like, I need to go. So if you want to know the story of that, we can talk about that during the after show. I don't want to get demonetized here on old YouTube or Facebook because that would be bad news. KC is getting weaker, buddy. Okay, guys, it is time to shift gears here into my Kansas City Chiefs. We've talked about the Dallas Cowboys, but it is time to talk about my team, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs. Timothy has been dogging my Chiefs for a very, very long time here. Same with Gretchen, right? They've all been dogging the Kansas City Chiefs, Their dynasty's over. They're sucked. The refs are always in their pockets, whatever, yada, yada, yada. My question to you, Timothy says the Kansas City Chiefs are getting weaker. Okay. How are they getting weaker? The loss of L'Jarius Sneed is a huge loss. Yes, L'Jarius Sneed was the top-ranked cornerback in the NFL last season, I do believe. He didn't allow a touchdown till the playoffs. No touchdowns were allowed by L'Jarius Sneed till the playoffs. I get it. But how are they getting weaker? I am curious. John People says, good morning. Yeah, good morning to you as well. Well, John. Flashing back over here to the Dallas Cowboys and says, you're right. Micah runs his mouth every year and doesn't show up for the playoffs. Zeke could start for Cincinnati or Green Bay. They're Super Bowl contenders. So when we look at the Green Bay Packers right now and Zeke Elliott, the Green Bay Packers did just sign Josh Jacobs. And then they re-signed backup running back. Was it Aaron Jones? No, it wasn't Aaron Jones. Why can I not remember his name? Now it's going to upset me. Let me go to NFLtoday.com and look at the roster of the Green Bay Packers here. Yes, we do have up-to-date rosters and stats over there as well. Was it Aaron Jones? Oh, A.J. Dillon. So right now the Green Bay Packers have A.J. Dillon and Josh Jacobs. Do you think... Now, I think Zeke is a very, very good running back. I think Wayne G is right. I still think he has gas left in the tank. Just got to lean it over to one side a little bit and get the last little gallon into the funnel and down to the engine. But he still has a little gas left in the tank. Do you try to put a running back like Zeke with Josh Jacobs and A.J. Dillon? I think those two spots are locked. I think Zeke would be a third guy and just kind of be like a Delvin Cook for the Jets. Kind of like, oh, here's $1 million. Shut your mouth, right? Cincinnati Bengals, they let Joe Mixon go. Joe Mixon was traded to the Houston Texans, and then they traded for Zach Moss from the Indianapolis Colts. Now, their backup is Chase Brown. I don't know who he is, or Travion Williams. I'm not for sure who he is either. But Zeke would probably be a good second fiddle to the Cincinnati Bengals and Zach Moss. However, with you saying that, you are telling me that the Cincinnati Bengals are a Super Bowl contending team. Are the Cincinnati Bengals really a Super Bowl contending team? Let's just be honest here. Let's throw out all your fandom out the door, all the stereotypes. Oh, I love Joe Burrow, whatever. Throw that all out the window here. X's and O's. Look at their division alone. Across the board, Baltimore Ravens. Are the Bengals better than anybody across the board? Quarterback? Probably not. Receiver? No. Defense? No. Running back? No. Offensive line? No. Pittsburgh Steelers. Quarterback? Potentially. Receiving core? Potentially. Offensive line? No. Running back? No. Defense? No. Give me the edge to the Steelers. The Browns. This is all a what-if game. Is Deshaun Watson back? I would take Deshaun Watson over Joe Burrow. I would take the receiving core over the Browns. The receiving core on the Browns over the Bengals. Offensive line? Wash. Defense? Give me the Browns. The Bengals aren't even the best team in their division. So to say that they are a Super Bowl caliber team, that is to say that everybody in the NFC North is a Super Bowl caliber team. The Browns, Steelers, Ravens, all Super Bowl. I mean, and that may not be a stretch, but I don't think the Bengals are it right now. Timothy, you don't owe these a-holes anything. You are right about the Kansas City Chiefs. National Tampon Day, says John. Okay. WBN says, oh yeah, I forgot they signed Josh Jacobs. Yeah, they released Aaron Jones and signed Josh Jacobs for $14 million, if I'm not mistaken, right? James says, for the Green Bay Packers, A.J. Dillon and Jacobs is a nasty backfield. Listen, I've liked A.J. Dillon for a very, very long time, and I thought at some point he was going to walk away from the Green Bay Packers and be a feature back somewhere. But for whatever reason, he has always stayed in Green Bay. He's always kept his nose down to the ground and does what he needs to do. A.J. Dillon might be one of the most underrated running backs out there. I love me some A.J. Dillon. John Switzer says Zeke plus Dallas. Haven't we already seen this movie? It's a 4% on Rotten Tomatoes. We have seen this be a 4, John. But at the same time, that was a young Zeke. That was a Zeke that thought there were greener pastures somewhere else. Went to the, quote, greener pastures and realized it sucks over there. I want to come back home. I want to come back home. WBN says A.J. Dillon is definitely underrated. He's been running mofos over. He's a real deal. He's a real deal. And then James Chamberlain comes out and says, I think the Bengals finished last in their division this season. Would not surprise me. Not because they're not a good team, just because the rest of the AFC North is so damn good, right? And Timothy follows up, says, most dynasties are loaded plus wins. Most dynasties are loaded plus wins. The Chiefs won a lot. Did not happen that the Bills injured Daddy Burrow, injured Lamar, laid an egg in the Niners offense and play calling a lot. Repeating the same thing over and over and over. What if, right? But guys, it is Tuesday, and that means one thing and one thing only. It is time for Overreaction Tuesday. Here on this beautiful Tuesday edition of here at manhourradio.com, NFLtoday.co, we are going to overreact to the Chicago Bears, the Minnesota Vikings, and then, of course, we're going to talk about the must-see TV game of the year, potentially the Eagles versus the Giants. But with that being said, guys, let's get into Overreaction Tuesday. Play along in the comments below. Let me know if you think it's an overreaction, like, whoa, that's not going to happen, or if it's an underreaction, like, you know what? They might be onto something here. So let's dive deep into it. And the first overreaction, underreaction that we're going to talk about is the Chicago Bears. As you guys know, the Chicago Bears have been very active this offseason, adding players such as Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift. They re-signed quarterback Jalen Johnson. And, of course, they do have the first overall pick and the 9th overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. So, guys, would it be an overreaction or an underreaction if the Bears traded the number 1 overall pick to get another first-round pick, giving them 3 first-round picks in the 2024 NFL Draft? So when we think about this of a team trading from the number 1 overall pick down to 15, 16, 17, and a team trying to jump up in there to get a quarterback, to get a receiver, it's going to swap picks and probably warrant a first-round pick for that to happen. So teams like the Raiders, Broncos, Vikings, and Falcons all seem like they want to move up. However, that really doesn't warrant a first overall or a second first-round pick, right? So meaning they swap picks and then they get the first-round pick for the 2025 season as well. And I really don't see anybody from the bottom half of the first round making that huge jump up to the first overall pick or even to the top 4 to get a quarterback. The only team that could possibly I could see doing that is the Rams right now. But I think the Rams are pretty solid where they're at. Guys, there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks taken in this year's draft. There's going to be potentially 6 quarterbacks drafted in the first round this season. In the 2024 NFL Draft, there could potentially be 6 quarterbacks drafted in the first round. So a team like the Vikings and Rams and, let's say, the Buccaneers, possibly the Giants, they can stay put right where they're at, and a quarterback's going to fall in their lap. Quarterbacks such as Bo Nix, Spencer Rattler, Penix Jr., right? Jordan Travis in the 4th round. There are going to be quarterbacks falling too, so there's no need to move out or move up into that first overall pick. So I think it is a overreaction that anybody would want to trade with the Bears to move up into the first overall pick. Because let's just be honest. The Bears have not done very good in the drafts in years past. Let them sit at number 1 overall. Let them fumble that pick, and then let's figure it out. So guys, let me know. Is it an overreaction or an underreaction that the Bears could potentially be trading out of the number 1 pick? James Frank is in the chat. What's up, James? Says A.J. Dillon got some angry runs in him. He does. He does. Taysom Bagent looked decent. Maybe. Listen, I liked me some Taysom Bagent last season, and I thought Taysom Bagent was a better fit for the Chicago Bears last season than Justin Fields. He was playing a lot more loosey-goosey. He was having a hell of a lot more fun. And I think people forget that Taysom Bagent is on the team still. So, Timothy, you are somewhat right. Taysom Bagent looked good, and the Chicago Bears could be looked to moving out of the first round pick or the first overall pick. I like it. John says, and Brandon Combs excited that he's what he's saying from last night. What was Combs saying last night? I did not watch their show. Last night I was watching some Iowa versus LSU on the old basketball game. But Combs is thinks the Chicago Bears are going to the Super Bowl too. But it is what it is. James says, no matter what the Bears do, it'll be pointless until they get rid of that garbage-ass head coach. That is correct. We have spoke on this many, many times, James. Matt Eberflus should have been fired mid-season last year. The man had 14 losses in a row and 10-game home losing streak. That is tough. Now you can say, oh, we didn't bring in our guys yet, whatever. At some point, you got to do the X's and O's and play with what you got. John says, if the Raiders did, it would be for Caleb Williams, not for Jaden Daniels. So John thinks the Raiders could potentially move up from their 13th overall pick up to the number 1 overall pick to draft them some Jaden Daniels. Listen, I don't think I don't think Caleb Williams is not going to go number 1 overall. Whoever is at that number 1 overall pick, Jaden Daniels is Caleb Williams is going to be the guy. Whether it's the Bears, whether it's the Commanders, whether it's the Vikings, whether it's the Giants, whoever's at that number 1 overall pick, Caleb Williams is going number 1 overall. Now, if I am the Las Vegas Raiders, I like where I'm at. Sitting at number 12, you have a potential to either get a really, really good receiver to add to Devontae Adams, or you have a potential to get a falling quarterback, such as J.J. McCarthy, such as a Drake May. If I am the Las Vegas Raiders, I do not move in this draft whatsoever. Now, I put up a nice big smoke screen. I put up a smoke screen saying I want the receiver from LSU, right? Is it Roman Oz something? I can't remember. The receiver from LSU. You put up a huge smoke screen saying I want this guy. I want this guy. I want this guy. Make teams like the Broncos start to panic. Make teams like the Vikings start to panic, right? Make teams like the Cowboys start to panic. Make them want to jump up there and draft that guy. Puts the quarterback down a little bit more. Put up a big smoke screen. The Raiders are in an excellent position to make some noise in this year's draft. J.J. McCarthy could be a game-changing quarterback if he goes through the right system. Bo Nix, whatever, right? Ant says, I say both because they desperately need a quarterback, but they also need O-line as well as other positions. They need all the picks they can get. Them drafting Caleb Williams or Jalen Daniels don't fix anything. See, this is the good thing about the Chicago Bears right now. They do have the 9th overall pick still, right? And just like what I just spoke on, there's going to be 6 quarterbacks going in the first round, probably. You got Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix Jr., and potentially Bo Nix, or even Spencer Rattler, all going in the first round. Let's say a team like the L.A. Rams love them some Caleb Williams. Doesn't want Caleb to leave L.A. No need to get on a flight. No need to get a taxi. Hey, man, you're right across the street. Come on over. Rams move up and give the franchise to Caleb Williams after Matthew Stafford's final season. Now the Bears are sitting at, the 20th overall pick, I believe it is. They have the 9th overall pick, and they probably get an extra first-round pick in the 2025 draft. At 9th overall at this time, then the Bears entertain the idea of moving up and getting themselves another quarterback, sitting there and see what quarterback falls to them, or guess what? Draft an edge rusher, draft some offensive line, sitting there at number 9, because at number 20th overall pick, you got Michael Penix Jr., you got Bo Nix, you got Spencer Rattler, you got some pretty damn good quarterbacks there at the bottom of the draft. And oh, by the way, you still have Taysom Bagent. Jim says the Raiders need JJ. Next to Minshew, but a better arm. Let's hope JJ McCarthy is not the next Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew is a journeyman. He is a good bridge gap quarterback. He is good for 4 or 5 games a season. He can put up that spark much like Ryan Fitzpatrick, but that's about it. He's not a franchise quarterback. He is not even a seasoned quarterback. Stop. He's not better than either. WBN says Keenan Allen would be requesting a trade by week 5. He deserves better. Dude has already wasted his prime on the Chargers. Listen, I think Michael Penix Jr. would be very, very good in Chicago. You have all the talent. Like, look what the Bears have done this offseason. They have a solid running game now. They locked up the defense. They have some pretty good receiver core. Then you have an athlete like Michael Penix Jr. that's able to stretch the pocket, roll the pocket, look down the field, and he runs a 4.4. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Got Frank in the chat as well. He says, hi. Good morning to you, Frank. Jameson says, LOL. Everything's a joke with Jameson. Nah, I'm kidding, man. What are you LOLing about? Are you LOLing about the potentially of the Bears trading the first overall pick, or Penix Jr. being successful in Chicago? I'm just kind of curious. Speaking of the draft, the Minnesota Vikings currently hold the 11th and the 23rd overall picks in the first round of the NFL draft. Now, many indications that they're saying that they're going to draft a quarterback. They want to move up to 4th, 3rd, 2nd to get themselves a quarterback. So, guys, is it an overreaction or underreaction that the Minnesota Vikings move up into the top 5 to get themselves a quarterback? As I've said it many, many times on this show, we could see 6 quarterbacks go in the first round. Sitting at 23rd overall is the Minnesota Vikings. There's going to be a good quarterback that drops to them at 23. Guys, this is stupid if the Minnesota Vikings move up into the top 5. Going from 11 to 5 is going to take a swap of picks and like a 2nd or 3rd round pick. It is going to take more than I think the Minnesota Vikings are willing to give to move into the top 5. You have 2 first-round draft picks with 6 quarterbacks potentially going in the first round. Sit at 23 Minnesota Vikings and draft yourself a quarterback. You need more help than just a quarterback in Minnesota. In Minnesota, guys, this offseason, they lost their dynamic edge runner by the name of Danielle Hunter. Danielle Hunter is now with the Houston Texans. With that 11th overall pick, they need to draft the best player on the board at that particular time. And that's probably going to be edge rusher Jared Verse from Florida State. Fill that edge rusher role at number 11. And then at number 3, get your quarterback. Get Penix, get Bo Nix, get Spencer Rattler. J.J. McCarthy might fall down that low. Get yourself a quarterback then. Do not move up into the top 5. Do not waste your franchise's future on a what if, right? Sit there at 11, sit there at 23, and just let the chips fall. Just let them fall. The only way, if I'm the Minnesota Vikings, if I'm moving up to number 1, 2, 3, or 3 or 4, is if I am 100% sold that Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels is the next coming of Jesus Christ. That is the only way I'm moving up there, period. At 23, I can get a mediocre quarterback and be just fine. I got Justin Jefferson. Right? I got who was that rookie that they got last season? Names are slipping my mind right now, guys. I am in tornado mode right now. Tornadoes get me going. If you know, you know. But they got JJ, they got Jordan Addison and Brandon Powell as well. And oh, by the way, they still got TJ Hawkinson. An average quarterback will be just fine. Bo Nix, Penix Jr., JJ McCarthy, whatever. Do not move up in the draft. This is an overreaction. Don't move up. Sit there at 11. Draft an edge rusher. Jared Versay from Florida State would be a great pickup right there. Sit there at 23. Let the quarterback fall to you. Let the quarterback fall to you. Frank says, let's go Colts. And says, not a Colts fan, but I'm excited to see AR, Jelani Woods, and Josh Downs this year. Got to be a nice fill core with it. Yeah, the Colts have quietly been putting together a really nice, good core. Anthony Richardson, I hope to have a really good season here. Penix is made of cardboard. He is made of cardboard. That's why the Bears are moving into a dome so that cardboard stays nice and firm. James says they said the same thing with Fields and didn't know how to properly utilize him. If there hasn't been more facts spoken right there in that comment, James nailed it for the day. The Chicago Bears just don't know how to raise a quarterback. It is. Jameson says Keenan Allen should have went to Houston. Should he have, though? I mean, the Houston Texans seem pretty good on the offensive side. I was really surprised that they added Joe Mixon, to be honest. But Tank Dell is going to be back. They still have Robert Woods. Nico Collins, right, is their number one guy. Who else they got? John Michi, the guy that battled cancer. They signed Dalton Schultz to a long-term deal, right? I'm not for sure if to be honest, Keenan Allen would have been a number 3 receiver on that team. To be honest, Robert Woods would have been the odd man out, but Keenan Allen would have been a number 3. I don't think you go from the guy to a number 3. I don't know. He got traded, unfortunately. Who got traded? John says, my very, very reliable source is saying that the Ravens are all in on drafting a quarterback in the first round. They want big results this year from their big investment quarterback position and planning on to the future so the investment not pay off in this year. Tick tock, tick tock. So John is saying that Lamar Jackson's days are numbered in Baltimore. John says that just because Lamar Jackson signed that big deal, it's a 5-year deal, right? Second year into that big 5-year deal. He says their investment and payoff is this year. Tick tock, tick tock. I'm gonna have to look into research into that because I'm curious to see what the dead cap hit is on Lamar Jackson. Can they really afford to move on from a Lamar Jackson after signing that big deal? I'm John. I had that noted, and I'm going to write that down, and we are going to research that. Jim says the Bears need Caleb so they can get attitude knocked out of him. We don't need Daniels. I'd rather have a lineman for the Raiders. Raiders need a lot. Jameson says Dallas should trade Dak for one of those rookie QBs. I believe Dak has a $96 million dead cap hit this season if he were to be traded, if I'm not mistaken. But all indications that the Dallas Cowboys are wanting to move up in the draft to draft a receiver. So I wonder if CeeDee Lamb's days are not numbered. James says that they trade Lamar before they can't. And says, hell, no way. Ain't no way going to happen. As in Lamar Jackson's being cut. I don't know. The final overreaction, underreaction here on this Tuesday edition of NFLtoday.co, Man Hour NFL Live Raw Uncut Talk, is we got to talk about a must-see TV game of the 2024 season. As you guys know, Saquon Barkley went to the Eagles this offseason after the Giants basically just let him walk. Didn't even offer him a deal. So guys, is it an overreaction or underreaction that the Eagles versus Giants at MetLife Stadium will be must-see TV this season? Guys, there's a lot of games this season that are going to be must-see TV games. I am talking about the Houston Texans. They're going to be a lot of must-see TV. Houston Texans versus Colts, must-see TV. Chiefs versus Chargers are going to be must-see TV this year. Chiefs versus Raiders is going to be must-see TV this season. Minnesota Vikings versus the Green Bay Packers is going to be must-see TV this season when Aaron Jones faces his old team. But this is an underreaction. I don't think this game is going to be as much CTV as many people think it is going to be. Because the Giants are just going to be a dumpster fire. The Eagles are just going to be meh, like I feel. Now, I feel that any division game in the NFC East is must-see TV. I do like the NFC East division games. Commanders versus Cowboys, Eagles versus Cowboys, Eagles versus Commanders, Giants versus whoever. They all play each other really, really well. And I bet you right now, Amazon TV and Peacock, they're all buying for this game to get their streaming services up, right? And I do think Barkley is going to go off in this game, but it's not going to mean a whole lot. I feel that they're going to probably push this game to the end of the season, week 14, 15, 16. Hopefully it's some type of playoff implication games. Saquon Barkley goes back to MetLife Stadium and knocks the Giants out of the playoff hunts or something. It's not going to happen. I think it is a underreaction. I don't think this game is must-see TV at all. Or I should say, I think this is an overreaction. I think there's going to be a hell of a lot more better games out there. The Vikings to the Packers. When Aaron Jones goes back to Lambeau Field, I think that no matter what, that game is going to be a good game. I think that is probably one of the must-see TV games out there. Put it on any day of the week, and I think that is going to be it. Saquon is a Penn State guy. Anything he does is must-see TV. He'll rush for 150. And it says, overreaction, the Eagles will dismantle them. The Commanders give them a better challenge. To follow up on this Lamar Jackson thing, John says Lamar Jackson dead cap hit in 2025 is $57.5 million. That's the third lowest hitting of the 5 years. We want results in 2024. New contract be damned. We'll see. And it says the Commanders took the Eagles to the wire both times last season. Yes, the Commanders did step up and play the Eagles very, very well last season. I was very, very, very impressed. And James also says, yes, as an overreaction. It is going to be a hard watch game. They'll go away to show more competitive game. Many people are looking forward to that game. 100%. But Saquon Barkley is going to be pissed off. He's going to be mad. He's hurt, and he's going to go off. Too bad it's going to be against a very, very bad Giants team. Very bad Giants team. But, guys, that's going to be it for today. I got to get to the old work early so I can get home early to take care of the kiddos during this tornado season. If you guys are in the states of Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, I think it all goes all the way down to Arkansas and Louisiana. There's a huge tornado threat today, guys. Be weather aware. Be safe out there. And ELE, everybody love everybody. See you guys tomorrow, same time, same place, 10 a.m. East Coast time, right here at Facebook.com, of course, YouTube.com/Man Hour NFL Talk. Until then, later.